All right, so why haven't you gone to therapy? Why haven't you talked to somebody about how you're feeling? You know, when you're feeling super flooded, what does that mean, flooded? Okay, have you heard of the homunculus? I know. Proprioceptors in your body that can actually read what's going on in the body, different physical sensations, and it can map it. So whether you're in pain or you're hungry or you're tired, these are all mapped in the homunculus via your proprioceptors, and they tell you how you are feeling. And they also tell you other emotions like sadness and anger and disappointment, happiness. Your proprioceptors can physically detect micro changes in the body, and it all comes together and sends a message to your prefrontal cortex to tell you what's going on. Now, all that is nice, but in the moment, you're just flooded with all of this mapping that's happened, feelings in the body. The emotions are there, and the prefrontal cortex gets this information. And then what happens often is our thinking brain, or conscious brain, are the one we are most aware of, feeds back into the loop with information that confirms that these sensations are correct and confirms that our emotions are coming from something real. It goes back in memory to all these times that confirm this feeling, and that why we're feeling that right now today is accurate. All right? And then that gets back into the brain's non-conscious system, feeds back into the nervous system, and again we're feeling flight. We are feeling fight or flight if we're getting flooded. So it's like it starts to ramp up, right? It gets stronger, these feelings. So now we're in this big loop. The prefrontal cortex is playing along. It's like the algorithm, right? It goes, yeah, for sure. I can see why you're angry in this state. Oh, yeah, disappointment. Pff, this matches all those other times. Angry, sadness, shame, guilt. Yeah, oh, for sure. Your prefrontal cortex can give you that message. But guess what? The prefrontal cortex is the only part, well, no, I can't say that. But let's say it is our quickest access to something we can control. And how do we control the prefrontal cortex? Well, we have to do it through the body, because the body is how we have gotten to where we are in the first place. Now, can you think a different thought and affect the body? Yes, you can. But most of us are trapped in that loop. And the prefrontal cortex is just way too good at finding reasons why it's true that this is a difficult, scary, shameful, sad experience we are having. All right, especially the older we get, we have way more evidence that matches it. Okay, but it isn't the same, and logically, part of our brain is going, I don't know why you're constantly always feeling this way. Like it's just a freaking hill, or it's just a guy on the phone, or yeah, I can't even think of a good example right now, right? But okay, so your friends haven't called you for a day and a half. Well, somebody didn't text you back. It reminds you of all the other times you've been rejected, you've been let down, that somebody has disappointed you. Okay, so it lumps it all together and contributes to that loop. So back to what can you do to stop it? Well, you have to go to the body. At least I do, right? That's where the deep breathing comes from. Okay, so you start to slow down the breath. Remind the breath that you're here, that you're now, that no line is chasing you. And then if you get that little moment, that little breath, can you give yourself a different thought? Can you give yourself something a little bit lighter that doesn't hurt quite so much, that doesn't flood you quite so quickly? No? Okay, do something else with the body. Like go for a walk, go into nature, pet your animal. Like keep going to the body to try and soothe it, okay? But you can't stop there. Every time you feel your sense a little bit of calm coming on, then you need to interject something more positive, all right? Because you are able to influence your prefrontal cortex, which is the only place where you can stop the loop, right? You can slow it down by accessing it through the body, but then you need to say something to yourself to just break the circuit. And God knows it's difficult. God knows it's difficult, but ask your therapist. Say, look, I need help practicing stopping this loop. And your therapist is not going to know when you're in the loop if you don't tell them. All right? If you don't express your true emotions, if you try to hide everything, if you try to bury everything, if you don't ask for help from somebody, then they're not going to be able to get you there. Can you get you there yourself? You just need practice. But you know what? It's much nicer to start off practicing with someone. Because in reality, we need people. We need relations. We need others to tell us we're not crazy sometimes. And if I have ever let you sit in my office flooded and didn't notice, I apologize. It's something about taxing the body, figuring out where our flood points are the only ways we can connect to emotion. So sometimes we need to feel the emotion. We need to see the emotion, but then we have to name it, identify it, and know where it comes from. And then we have to learn how to intercept that loop. The humongous mapping of our proprioceptors. Go on, say that at a party. You'll be cool. JakeJoy Therapy. Reach out.